Night of February 19, 2013. A young woman stepped into an elevator inside a historic hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Security cameras captured her final known moments. She pressed multiple buttons. She stepped in and out of the elevator. She peered into the hallway, as if hiding what police would soon discover would shock the world. This is the disturbing and mysterious case of Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was born on April 30, 1991. In Vancouver, Canada. She was a university student at the University of British Columbia and was known as intelligent, thoughtful, and creative. Elisa enjoyed writing and often expressed herself through blogging on her personal Tumblr account. She openly discussed her struggles with bipolar disorder and depression. She spoke honestly about mental health, medication, and the difficulties of living with her condition. In January 2013, Elisa decided to take a solo trip across California. Her parents supported her independence, but asked for one thing in return. Elisa was to check in with them every day. Elisa began her journey in San Diego before traveling north to Los Angeles. On January 26, 2013, she checked into the Cecil Hotel, located in downtown Los Angeles. At the time, the Cecil was operating partly as a budget hotel and partly as long-term housing. The building itself was historic, but it carried a dark reputation. Over the years, the Cecil Hotel had been associated with violent crimes, suicides, mysterious deaths, and long-term residents struggling with mental illness. Shortly after checking in, Elisa shared a room with other guests. However, hotel staff later reported that her roommates complained about her behavior. They described it as unusual and disruptive. As a result, Elisa was moved to a private room. On January 31, 2013, Elisa failed to contact her parents. Concerned, her parents contacted the police. Officers searched her hotel room, hallways, stairwells, and nearby streets. Sniffer dogs traced her scent to a window, and then it stopped. There was no evidence she had left the hotel. Days passed with no sign of her. In 2013, police released surveillance footage from the hotel elevator. The video was just under 4 minutes long. It showed Elisa entering the elevator, pressing buttons, stepping in and out, and peeking into the hallway. Her movements appeared erratic. At one point, the elevator doors remained open unusually long. No other person appears in the footage. The video went viral almost immediately. The internet began speculating. Was Elisa being followed? Was someone threatening her? For days, guests at the Cecil Hotel had been complaining. The water pressure in their rooms was low. Some said the water looked dark. Others said it tasted strange. At first, hotel staff thought it was just a plumbing issue, something minor that could be fixed quickly. So on the morning of February 19, 2013, a maintenance worker was sent to the rooftop to check the hotel's water tanks. The Cecil Hotel used large water tanks on the roof to supply water to the entire building. The worker climbed up to the roof alone, carrying his tools, expecting to find a mechanical problem, maybe a blockage or a valve that needed adjusting. One by one, he inspected the tanks. When he reached one of them, he noticed the lid was open. This immediately struck him as strange. He climbed closer and looked inside, and that's when he saw something floating in the water. At first, he couldn't understand what he was seeing, but as he looked longer, the shape became clear. It was the body of a young woman. The maintenance worker stepped back in shock. He did not touch anything. He immediately reported what he had seen to hotel management. After the hotel staff were informed of what the maintenance worker had seen, the Los Angeles Police Department was finally called to the Cecil Hotel. Within a short time, police officers arrived at the scene and secured the rooftop. Access to the roof was restricted immediately, and guests were asked to remain in their rooms as investigators began their work. Detectives carefully examined the water tank from the outside before taking any further action. They documented the scene, taking photographs and notes, treating the rooftop as a potential crime scene. Fire department crews were then called in to assist, because the tank was large and elevated, making the recovery difficult. The water supply to the hotel was shut off to prevent further contamination. After several hours of careful preparation, emergency responders were able to remove the body from the tank. It was then officially confirmed that the body was Elisa Lam, the Canadian student who had been missing for nearly 3 weeks. News of the discovery spread quickly, shocking hotel guests, investigators, and the public. The Cecil Hotel, already known for its dark past, was once again at the center of a disturbing mystery.
Police now faced a critical question.
How did Elisa Lam end up inside a locked water tank on the rooftop of the hotel? How did Elisa get into the tank?
The autopsy ruled her death an accidental drowning.
Experts later explained that Elisa was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Despite theories, police closed the case.
Over the years, the case of Elisa Lam has been analyzed, debated, and turned into countless theories.
People have argued about the elevator footage, about the hotel, about the water tank.
But in the middle of all the speculation, one important truth is often forgotten. Elisa Lam was not a mystery. She was a human being. She was a 21-year-old student who loved writing, traveling, and sharing her thoughts with the world. She was someone's daughter,
someone's friend. She struggled with mental health, something millions of people live with every day. And during her final days, she was alone in a city far from home.
What happened to Elisa Lam may never be fully understood, but her life was more than the way it ended.
She deserves to be remembered not as a strange video, or a conspiracy, or a headline, but as a young woman who existed, who mattered, and who should never be forgotten. Rest in peace, Elisa Lam.
Thank you for watching.